Yes. Wagwan people, what you saying? It is I, Diligent Fingers, and welcome to the Viewpoint podcast, recorded on stereo, and will be uploaded to my YouTube channel, Diligent Fingers, as well as on Spotify, the Viewpoint podcast with Diligent Fingers, and all your other places that you listen to, podcasts and stuff like that, and that Anchor. Loads. There's loads of them and stuff. But yeah, if you are listening on stereo, I will let you know that I won't be initially responding to any comments or anything like that. Just whilst I'm getting my point out and my story out. And if you are listening back on YouTube or anywhere where you can leave a comment, please do leave a comment, in regards to what I've been talking about, in regards to, your own story with religion, spirituality, where you are, do you know what I mean? What anchors you there and that. But I thought I would explain my story in regards to religion and spirituality. I just find it as like an interesting sort of journey just for myself, and the more that I talk about it, the more in some cases I find that it's a unique viewpoint. Maybe I don't know, maybe I may be giving myself a bit too much credit there, and that gotta put some ambient music on. But I always find that, like, people seem to think that it's an interesting perspective to have, to say I've given myself to the universe, especially from the sort of roots of religion that I came from and stuff. But anyway, enough with the disclaimers. Quick smoke and a cup of tea break, and we shall begin. So, growing up, I was brought up in a gospel Christian household and stuff, but we're very Jamaican, almost Rastafarian roots, or ideals within the gospel Christian faith. The majority of my family came over to the UK, to Great Britain, through the Windrush generation, through immigration and stuff like that. And gospel Christianity was something that was very, very prevalent within my family growing up. It kind of ran through everything. The music that my mum would play, the music that my grandma would play, how music would be incorporated into religion, do you know what I mean? As well as the fact that I was very musically minded. I was very attracted to music. So growing up, it almost felt as if it came hand in hand. Music was almost attached to religion, attached to Christianity. So I did in the beginning, I did have a deep connection with religion. I didn't fully understand it, especially growing up as a toddler, as a preteen, as a teenager. I didn't understand it to its fullest at all. And I still don't understand it now, even through, researching all these other different religions that are out there. Just trying to find connections, just trying to find the truth. But especially at a younger age, like, I didn't understand it fully. I'm going off, what my parents are telling me, what my grandparents are telling me, my uncles, my aunties, other people, within the church, Sunday school, Bible studies, do you know what I mean? Church on Sundays, all that kind of stuff. I'm going by what everybody else is telling me, as well as what I can kind of understand from the Bible itself. But then it's the adults that are helping me to understand what it is that I'm reading. It's a very, very, very religious household, from my grandma right down to, my youngest brother. Do you know what I mean? My youngest immediate brother. And then, but where things started to change for me growing up, I think it was the first time was around 11 years old. And I didn't want to go to church on one particular Sunday. I'd gone to primary school and stuff. I'm playing with my friends, and they're all saying that they're going to meet up on Sunday, you know, and play some football, play some games and stuff. People like other kids on my street in Manchester. We all wanted to play together. And I remember, I was being a very stubborn child. I really did not want to go to church. I really did not want to get into, my church clothes, which were really hand me downs and stuff. So partly I didn't want to go out and be seen, in like old clothes and be made fun of by the other kids on the street and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But that's another side. That's another story within itself. But also, I just wanted I just wanted to play out with my friends. That's all I could remember from that back then. Like, you know, whatever my grandma was saying at the time when I was living with her, you know, you know, of course I'm not gonna get it. Of course I'm not gonna get the importance of it. In hindsight, looking back, I'm a child. I don't get it. I just want to play. I don't understand why I can't do what other kids are able to do and stuff, especially when it comes to just playing games, just playing out, being kids. Do you know what I mean? Playing together. Do you know what I mean? So I was a very stubborn kid when it came to that. Do you know what I mean? Like at that point in time, I was just like, no, I don't want to go to church. I don't want to wear these clothes. I don't want to sing Amazing Grace and play the tambourine. I just want to go out and play with my friends. My grandma's rushing me because it's getting closer and closer to the time that we need to go to church and this, that, and the other. You know, and she comes upstairs and she sees that I'm not in my church clothes, I'm in my normal clothes, and she proceeds to beat me. Do you know what I mean? Now I know that there's other things behind that as an adult, hindsight being 2020. I know there's other things behind that. I'm only 10, 11 years old. Who am I going to stay with? Well, I can't stay in the house on my own. Do you know what I mean? Like, what if something happens to me while my grandma's at church? Do you know what I mean? Like, all that kind of stuff, all that good kind of stuff. As a child, I understand why an adult would get frustrated and upset that a child is not behaving, not doing what they are told, you know. But that day, that was a turning point for me because that day I kind of blamed religion. I started to blame religion and blame God for a lot of stuff. Do you know what I mean? That day ended up staying with me. After I took my beating, I got into my church clothes and I had my cry, and you know I went to church and played the tambourine and tried to sing, but I had the most miserable face on me. Everyone in the church knew that I'd done something wrong and I'd been beaten for some reason, and that I'd been smacked. Do you know what I mean? I realised to some people, beating may sound worse than what it is. Do you know what I mean? But it stuck with me. It hurt me. It stuck with me. Um, and I started to blame God. I started to blame religion for a lot of the punishment that I felt I did not deserve. As I would get older, things like phrases like turn the other cheek would just make no sense to me. I would just be completely against it. What am I turning the other cheek for? Do you know what I mean? What, someone hits me and I'm supposed to turn around and say, hit me again? Like, are you mad? Like, are you crazy? I hate being hit in the face anyway. Do you know what I mean? If there's one thing that I can't stand, it's being slapped. I really can't stand it. That's red mist territory, even though I can control it, because don't get me wrong, I've been slapped. Do you know what I mean? And I can control myself. But things like turn the other cheek, just I would be completely against it. Do you know what I mean? Like an eye for an eye, all these kind of things that would be used as a way to sort of minimize the pain that you're going through. Do you know what I mean? And almost justify why you are being punished or why you should be punished further. Do you know what I mean? and the stuff, like any kind of punishment that came with an attachment to God, I would instantly have a problem with. Instantly, and it would shape my outlook. Do you know what I mean? And it would cause a lot of conflict in me. Because as I would get older, and I'd read the Bible more and I'd understand the Bible more, things would just make me question religion, like the whole idea of original sin. So I am born with sin, even though I am born into a state where I don't even understand or know what sin is. I just automatically have it because of something that someone else did many years ago, before I even knew what a world, a planet, grass, dirt, even before I even knew what God was. I am born with original sin, and that would in turn sort of distort some of the views that I would have in life. So as an example, as I would grow up, and I would start to understand terms like rape, sexual abuse, domestic violence, and things like that. I'm watching programs like Dispatches, and do you know what I mean? Things on BBC One, BBC Two, like just lifestyle, life documentaries talking about things that I wouldn't know about. So growing up as a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, watching these programs late at night when I can't sleep, or just stumbling across them one time, do you know what I mean, on Channel 4 or just on TV, unexpectedly, finding out what these terms mean in such a candid way. When it came to the abuse that men can dish out, that men are capable of, religion would end up distorting that sort of perspective in me, and there were times where I would hate myself for being a man. I would hate myself that because of what I've read in the Bible, as man, paying for the sins of my father, and do you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff. I would hate myself as a man. I would be scared of, is this what I'm capable of? Do you know what I mean? Is this the damage? Is this damage that I can inflict? So I'd really, even though I would be reluctant from like 10 years old, I'd still really get into, praying, and, at times going back to the Bible and trying to find the right scriptures to sort of help me and stuff. I'm going to turn this music. I go to switch it up because it's sounding a bit eerie and spooky, and it just automatically changes to something else. I'm going to start ignoring it then. But yeah, growing up, like, and as I'm starting to understand these things, I would go back to the Bible every now and again and go through these scriptures. I talk to my elders, my mom, and, do you know what I mean, other elders, uncles, aunties, about where I kind of find myself. I try and talk to people that are in other parts of religion, Catholics, do you know what I mean, Muslims, do you know what I mean, like Sikhs, Jewish people, just to see if there's something that I can find to bring me back to believing in God. Do you know what I mean? And not questioning him so much, and not feeling so baffled and overwhelmed by, me praying every night that things would get better for my mom, things would get better for my family. Like, I would never pray for me. There was never a point in time where I would actually pray for me. It was always for the people around me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would wake up and I'd just be like, I'll get through whatever I need to get through, for the longest time, and which is the cause of which is, due to my depression, I resided myself to believing that I am a mistake. I'm not supposed to be here. So any blessings that come to me are a bonus. Do you know what I mean? They're a bonus. They're something that's on top of what I just have to get through. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't believe that I deserved really anything, but if anything came my way that was positive, then I would accept it, and I would just be grateful, you know. But I'd be praying and praying and praying and praying and praying, and it just felt like no matter how much I prayed, you know, nothing would really change, nothing would really improve. Do you know what I mean? And the other conflict would be like when I'd stop praying, I'd give up. I'd feel like, you know, he's not listening. God's not listening to me. He's got too much on his plate, or I've done too much bad shit for him to really listen to me. When things would improve for seemingly no reason, just life. Do you know what I mean? It'd be weird for me to feel like God would be responsible for that, you know, because I'm not asking for anything. I'm not praying for anything, you know. And then it would be weird for people to say to me, well, you know, that's God. That's God helping you out there. That's God, do you know what I mean, giving you those blessings. And it'd be so strange because even when things are improving, I would just feel like, well, it just doesn't make any sense. Why now? Why now? Why now are we getting these blessings when we seemingly don't need these blessings? But when we do actually need the help and things like that, you know, it's just not there. You know, when I'm praying for, you know, a 50K, you know, to help my family get out of debt and things like that, you know, it's not coming. But then when it just comes out of nowhere, you know, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? And we're supposed to look up and thank God for that. Do you know what I mean? Or if I work hard towards something and I stick to a plan and all that kind of stuff, you know, I stick to my plan, I stick to my convictions. Do you know what I mean? I'm supposed to thank God for that, you know? But then there would be another conflict where there would be times where I just don't know how I'm going to get through this. I can't. I'm really hoping and praying for the best for everyone around me. Do you know what I mean? Because especially my immediate family, because, you know, we're all in this together, you know, and somehow we would get through it. Somehow I would get through this situation. You know, times where, you know, I felt like I was going to get robbed, or, you know, I felt like I was going to sometimes I felt like I was going to die. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like police mistreatment, racism, just getting into things at the wrong, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, getting myself into stupid shit, succumbing to anger. Do you know what I mean? And taking that anger out on another man. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, and oh, I've had knives pulled out on me. I've had guns in my face. Do you know what I mean? Like, that man, like, I've been like completely stomped. Like, ugh, there's been so much where I really felt like this is it for me. Do you know what I mean? And it just didn't happen. Somehow I got through it. And, you know, those would be the times where I'd be like, yo, I know I'm angry with you at times. I know I question and I shout at you. And do you know what I mean? Like, God, but, you know, thank you for keeping me here. Thank you for, you know, not taking my life away from me. Do you know what I mean? Not choosing that was the time that I had to come and meet you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fully like, you know, I'm still fully engrossed in religion at these points. Do you know what I mean? And as much as, like I said, I'm angry, you know, it's still, it's still a solid part of my foundation, or at least it was. Or at least it was. But then things really started to happen that just made no sense to me whatsoever. You know, people would die around me that had no reason to die. You know, people like Benjamin Stanley, who died at a really young age. I think he was 16 or 17 at the time. You know, he was killed due to mistaken identity because of gang wars that was going on in my city at the time. You know, and I'm asking, why him? Why him? It was no part to play in any of that nonsense. Why him? You know, close friends, do you know what I mean, that would commit suicide, do you know what I mean? People that I love that would get into really horrible situations like rape, like I said, sexual abuse and things like that. I'd be like, why? Why are these things happening to them? Why? I know these people are good people. Why are you choosing now to be their time to come to you, God, in such a horrific way? Why? You know, friends of mine whose parents would catch cancer, family members that would catch cancer, leukemia, like die from chicken pox. And, do you know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, why? Why is this happening? You know what I mean? You know, comic relief, children in need, and, you know, famine, poverty. I'm looking out and I'm like, why? Why is this happening? Like, why are these people in this position? They need help more than I do, you know? Why are they living in such a way? God, why have you made it so? You know, if you know what is going to happen and you know everything, that you know, every single move that we are going to make as humans, you created us, God, you created us. So why are you letting these people live in famine, live in poverty, no food, walking for miles on end just to get clean water? Do you know what I mean? Living in dirt. And I'm coming from, I'm coming from I'm looking at these things from a very first world perspective. Do not get me wrong. I'm looking at these things from a very first world perspective because I realize that I've got more than them. And it would make that would be a problem that would lead into, you know, how I would respond to, you know, people that would knock on doors, Jehovah's Witnesses, even gospel people would knock on doors. You are, you know, talk about the Lord, you know, follow these scriptures and blessings will come to you. And I will be like, well, why don't you send those blessings over to Africa, to these indigenous tribes, to these, do you know what I mean? All these underdeveloped places that are dealing with horrific stuff. You know, places that are being licked with hurricanes and earthquakes and, do you know what I mean? Torrential storms and floodings. Like, why isn't he sending the blessings over there? I know I'm doing worse than them. So what do I need more blessings than them for? They need the help. They need God to look out for them. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's where we would start to hear how, each country has their own, relationship and troubles with God. Do you know what I mean? This is where I would start to hear how each religion has their own way of, victim blaming, as it were. Do you know what I mean? What I would used to hear about, Africa is because of something in the Bible where some other people will curse them, so as a result of a curse, from hundreds of years ago, that's why these people in Africa are made to live the way that they're living. Nothing to do with evolution, nothing to do with any other human intervention or current modern day times or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? From hundreds of years ago, a people was cursed because of some badness. Do you know what I mean? I mean, who would be responsible for that curse? Depending on who you speak to, you'll get a different answer. You know what I mean? Whether it's, the race of man, do you know what I mean? A certain tribe, do you know what I mean? From either, Cain's heritage or Abel's heritage, do you know what I'm saying? Descendancy, do you know what I mean? But black people have been cursed. That's why Moses had to come and scream at the Egyptians, let my people go, and 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 then all the Bible stories would start to conflict with me, like, why does a man have to go through so much pain and endure so much heartache, pain, damage? Do you know what I mean? abuse, just to prove over a long period of time that he is right to believe in God and God is real. Because at some point, God is going to show all these people that if I sin, this go through me taking all this pain, having people dashing rocks at me, whipping me, kicking me, punching me, stabbing me, do you know what I mean, hurting other people in my life. But if I stay in this spot and just believe that God will bring me to salvation, that led me to believe that, like, okay, I must endure all of this pain just to be able to get something good. Okay, cool. But there's no time limit. There's no time limit. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to, and how long to endure this pain for, God, and whether or not I'm going to be able to actually take all of this pain, whether my body will be able to take all of this pain. Why do I have to take this pain in the first place? If I'm already praying to you, if I'm already trying to do good, live good, repent my sins, why am I still having to endure this pain? Why is my mum still having to endure this pain? Why are my sisters still having to endure this pain? Why are people that I love still having to endure this pain? It would lead me to so many questions. And as life went on, and as things would get progressively worse from my perspective, the angrier I would get. The angrier I would get. I'm screaming some nights. I'm screaming at my ceiling. Absolutely screaming at my ceiling. Why? Why? Why did my brother have to go through this? Why did my mum have to go through this? Why did my sister have to go through this? Why did they have to die? Why, God? This makes no sense. These people are good people. Oh, karma. They're talking to my pastors. I've gone to confession a couple of times. Do you know what I'm saying? The father said to me, well, you know, God works in mysterious ways. I wish he wouldn't. You know, when it's their time to go, it's their time to go. God chose them to come and meet him. God felt like it was their time to leave us and go and join him. And okay, cool. What lesson am I supposed to learn from this then? What am I supposed to take from constantly losing loved ones for unjust reasons? And then it was Stephen Fry who really opened my eyes in terms of, you know, the context of my anger towards what would be all religions. And don't worry, I'm not angry anymore. I'm not angry anymore. But it was seeing an interview with Stephen Fry, a white homosexual man, a comedian, an actor, a very educated man, someone who I revered so much growing up. Do you know what I mean? And I admired how intelligent he was. I admired how articulate he was. He was like the white version of Martin Luther King for me. The white British version of Martin Luther King. Do you know what I mean? And I had someone then that I had two people that I could hold up as sort of two balancing rocks. Do you know what I mean? Martin Luther King, a black man, highly intelligent, religious. Do you know what I mean? Spoke for civil rights, straight man. Do you know what I mean? Made his fair mistakes, but had a ideal and an outlook on the world that was world-based, you know, person-based, the civil rights for all, a world where children can be judged by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin. And then I had Stephen Fry, another articulate man, homosexual. So something I don't know, a space that I don't know, an area that I don't know about. Whiteness, something I don't know about. Do you know what I mean? But with the same morals and values as Martin Luther King. Now you'll hear me say that and be like, what do you mean same morals and values? Stephen Fry's gay. Do you know what I mean? And that will just highlight your prejudice, not mine. You know? But from there I had a balance in the fact that Martin Luther King was so religion led, so God led, and Stephen Fry wasn't. I had two sides to an argument. I had two sides to a story that I could then, do you know what I mean, use to try and make up my own mind. I had Martin Luther King, who was very led by God, put all his faith and trust in God. Even when he knew that his life would be in danger, he still put all his trust and faith in God. And then I had another man who felt like God had persecuted him. God had made him feel like, regardless of what he wants, God does not love him. Why? Because apparently homosexuality is a sin within the Bible. Homosexuality is apparently a sin within all religions, because I've read the Quran. I know about the Catholic religion. I know about Christian religion. You know, there's other religions I don't know about, but I've heard from speaking to other people, friends, people from around the world, that homosexuality isn't favored within those religions either. And the very thing that would make me connect instantly with Stephen Fry and Stephen Fry's story was the fact that he did start off religious. He did come to God. But he was made to feel horrible. He was made to feel as if he was unloved just because of how he felt and the person that he became. But we both run into this roadblock of, well, you gave us free will. You gave us the opportunity to try and figure out who we are, who we're supposed to be. We're all unique creatures. He highlighted the conflict that I could feel so strongly within myself. Stephen Fry highlighted that for me through his anger at God. You know, he highlighted for it. I think it was when he said, you know, what kind of evil, vindictive God would create a creature that burrows through the eyes of children? Their sole purpose is to burrow into, you know, other people, into people's flesh and eat them from the inside. You know, and there's children in underdeveloped countries and places that are having to deal with these kind of things. You know, again, I'm looking at this from a first world perspective, a westernized, like fully developed countries, fully developed civilizations perspective. You know, but what kind of God would do that? What kind of God would create a world where, you know, at any given time we can just kill each other, whether we're humans, whether we're animals, whether we're insects, whether we're plants? You know, we all have these defense mechanisms. You know, and it would just all start to make me question everything and put me on a journey where I'm desperately trying to search for the truth. I have to find reason and meaning into all this struggle and pain that me and the people that I love have been through and are still going through. You know, it would bring me to, you know, question, why are you so angry? Why are you a jealous God? Like, you know, you created all of us. You created us. You know, what have you got to be jealous of? You know, there's no one around. There's no one else around for us to run away to. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Do you know what I mean? And it would make me think, okay, cool. When I look at all of these different religions, except for Buddhism, and maybe Rastafarianism, but yeah, no. Rastafarianism, like, it's more a prophet and that, but they still praise God, Jesus. Do you know what I mean? Lion of Judah, all them kind of things there. But it all centers around being enlightened, being bigger than ourselves, or there being something that is bigger than ourselves. So it brings me to the question of, well, why is it so male focused? Why is God a man? Why is God a man? Why was it Eve's fault that everything went wrong when she, bit the apple from the Garden of Eden? Yeah, there was a snake involved, but God made the snake. You know what I'm saying? Why was Eve made from Adam's rib? Why didn't God put enough equal effort into Eve that he did into Adam? Why is everything just so male focused? Why is there no version where God is female? And when I reached that point, that's when I started to look out at man themselves. Me. I'm a man. I am a man. So what am I capable of as a man, as a human being? Manipulation, coercion, distortion, envy, jealousy, hate, resentment. All of these things that apparently the God that I'm supposed to be looking up to is also capable of. But he's supposed to be bigger than us. He created us. Okay, we're his children. Okay, cool. Okay, we're his children. We're going to compare him. We're going to compare him to human parents, us as parents. We're his children. Okay, cool. If we're his children, why isn't he guiding us? That's what parents are supposed to do, guide us. Oh, the Bible? The Bible? These books that have been rewritten, had loads of different versions and translations. And okay, so which guidance is the true guidance then? If there's so many different interpretations, and do you know what I'm saying? Like, naturally, I would be led to these questions, but I would still have a conflict because I would still believe that there was something up there. There was some sort of energy guiding me. I have to believe that something is guiding me in some sort of way. There has to be some sort of meaning to why I'm on this journey and why I'm going through all of this pain. I would look at the treatment that we inflict on each other as humans. And then I would look at the treatment that I would supposedly get if I don't follow God's laws, God's morals, I'm just going to say God. Do you know what I'm saying? Whether it's Allah, like, but I'm referring to all of these because in all religions, every type of God can be angry, can be jealous, can have wrath, can desire vengeance. Do you know what I mean? And strike down lightning and thunder and hailstone and do you know what I'm saying? All these things. God can do this to us the same way we can do it to each other. So then, 3-4 years ago, after going on a long, arduous journey of trying to find the truth, just trying to find the truth, but finding too many things that would just conflict with me, conflict with my spirit. I would find too many exceptions to the rule. I'd find too many times where there is a contradiction. And I'm not even blaming humans for this. I'm blaming the actual doctrines, the books that I'm reading. where on one page it would be all about peace and love and spreading positivity and, you know, being good. And then the next page, it would be all about pain and wrath and punishment. And I started to understand why I was so scared of God. This thing that I'm supposed to love. Why am I so scared of him? Yet I'm so angry with him. So then 3-4 years ago, it led me to a point where I decided, right, I'm going to change the way that I approach God, that I approach religion. I'm going to change the way I approach it, not the way that I am being told to approach it. I'm going to change the way that I choose to approach it. So one morning I woke up and I decided, right, I am no longer going to speak any badness into my universe. I don't know why I chose universe. I think it was just a common thing, like protect you, like you live in your own universe, or you're the master of your own universe, or whatever. You know what I mean? But that morning I woke up and I was like, I am not going to speak any badness anymore into my universe. I'm so angry, I'm so resentful, I'm so exhausted, I'm so fired up though at the same time. I'm so impulsive, I'm so lost, I'm so confused. But I need to start being grateful at some point. But I don't know who to be grateful to. So I think that's why it led me to the universe aspect. I'm not going to speak any more badness into my universe. And what I meant by that, you know, is, you know, if I've got a problem with someone, I'm not going to slag them off. I'm going to speak to them directly. Do you know what I mean? If I, you know, try not to swear as much, you know, try and see things from both sides, try and take a step back and really think about things before I respond, before I react, you know, try and hold myself accountable first, you know, before looking at anybody else. Because for the longest time, I was looking at everybody else to help me understand the world, myself, religion, everything. But at some point, that's got to stop and you've got to do it for yourself. And for me, that was that moment. I'm going to stop talking badness. I will not speak any more badness into my universe. Then that led me into looking deeper into the universe that we're in. I reached a point where I was so depressed that I just got lost in watching videos about space, about the different planets, the different solar systems, the different galaxies, how big our it's so funny. It's like this music knows what I'm talking about because it's just changing and getting all like intense as I'm starting to talk about space. But I'm learning about the different, you know, how big and how ever growing our universe is. You know, I'm learning about, you know, what could have led us to this point of the Earth being created, you know, because there's definitely other planets. There's definitely, I mean, we went to the moon. The human went to the moon. We got pictures of it. We got a picture of what the Earth would look like if we were actually on the moon. You know, I'm big into technology. You know, I play video games. I make music, so I use a computer and things like that. Like I'm big into technology and, you know, gadgets and, you know, the science behind things. And that really started to take over. I had the existential crisis of, oh my God, like this Earth is so big, this you know, solar system is so big, this galaxy is so big, this universe is so big. And yet I now feel so small. I would go back and forth with myself, like, is there a God? Isn't there a God? Nah, God must have created this. Nah, God didn't create this. And I get deeper into it, super clusters of galaxies. How long it theoretically takes to reach these galaxies, these other planets, these other places in space. I found something called the Great Attractor, which is so far away from us, but is something so powerful that slowly but surely, over billions and billions and billions of years, it's pulling all of our galaxies and solar systems towards it, to the point where planets are colliding with each other, solar systems are colliding with each other, and so many chain reactions are happening. And it would proper open up my eyes in terms of, you know, what we're all made of, what makes us. These atoms, these particles, these molecules, these protons, photons, like, they're all in us. You know, I have the same biological breakdown when we get to the raw basics as any animal or tree or even building structure, as everything else in this universe. The same gases and, you know, the air that I breathe, the CO2, the H2O, all of these elements are in space. They're what makes up the planets. Dust, gas, rock, stone. They're all us. It brought me to the point of realizing, after a good 3-4 years of just going on this journey myself and taking in the things that, you know, not that I can confirm to be fact, but that just make sense universally. Take away the theories, take away, do you know what I mean, everyone's hopes. What is fact? Do you know what I mean? I am made up of atoms, particles, molecules, gas, water, air. Literally the same things that make up the basis, the core of the sun. Are the same things that make me, that make us. And I stopped feeling so insignificant. I stopped feeling so small. And I actually started to feel like I am part of something that is bigger than myself. It's taken a long time for this planet to be this planet. It took more time for the animals to become animals. It took more time for humans to become humans. So then I started to understand that there was a time before us. Seven days is a very short space of time in the grand scheme of our lives. You can accomplish a lot in 7 days. But for something to be meaningful, it takes time. For this planet to find itself in the perfect spot, for all of us to actually get here, for all of us to come to be, is, dare I say it, a miracle within itself. Because look at Venus, our sister planet, that's closer to the sun, barren, no life there, or life that we as humans would know it. You know, there'll be biological life, bacteria and things like that. That kind of life, but not life like us, like animals, like bees, like trees, like humans. Look at Mars, on the other side of us, a good 8 months travel away. Imagine that, having to travel to somewhere for 8 months. And apparently that's the closest thing to a second Earth that we have at the moment. I'm like, wow. I just became amazed at like how beautiful our universe is. And I know I'm gonna start sounding all hippie-ish, and do you know what I mean? Like I'm literally smiling right now as I think about it. You know. Now look at the sun, like this. This massive ball of fire and energy, and you know what I mean? Reactions after reactions after reactions. This ball that gives us so much. It burns our skin. It heats our planet. It gives us solar power. It gives us energy. Like, we have solar power as a result of the sun. As a result of our engineering and figure things out, we can now gain more natural energy from a natural energy source, the sun. We're trying to recreate what makes the sun with nuclear energy. So I stopped feeling like my life was insignificant. I stopped feeling like I wasn't a part of something. And I started to feel like I am part of something greater. Like, whatever I do in this life is going to have an impact on this planet, and it's going to be a part of the history of this universe. Because I don't know what's going to happen to this world, this planet, this universe after I die. But I do know that it's going to carry on. It's definitely going to carry on. And things are going to change. Things are going to evolve. Do you know what I mean? To a point that I can't even comprehend right now. Because a normal human lifespan is, 100 years. Do you know what I mean? We can talk about the averages of a human lifespan, given, social climates, the current state of the world, pollution, this, that, and the other. But I know that, once you lick 100, it's just a case of like, how long can you last? I know once you lick 70s, 60s, 70s, that your body is not as capable as it was in the beginning. There is a cycle that we go through, a path that we go through as humans. We're born, we live a life, and then we pass. I don't know whether my spirit will move on to whatever, but I do know this planet will still be here, and this universe will still be expanding and evolving and reacting, and do you know what I mean? Doing what it's going to do. And even then, our solar system is really a tiny dot within the timeline of the universe. And to some, that can sound like, you know, we don't mean anything then. We're just here at this point in time. But to me, that means everything. It's the main thing that's like, that kind of stops me from one of the main things that kind of stops me from wanting to end my life, even though it's incredibly hard. It stopped me from wanting to blame God. It took God away. It took the whole aspect of God being a he or a she. Even though, if I'm totally honest, I would be more happy to move towards, you know, God the woman. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, once I reach that point of being like, right, I'm just down with the universe, I give myself to the universe rather than, you know, living a life where I feel like I'm entitled to take from this universe. I give myself to it. There's nothing else I can do. Like, I have to survive. I have to live and try and live the best life that I can. But I give myself to the universe because I've taken so much from it, you know? And when I came to that point, it took away the need to pray, the need to ask God for anything, ask a higher being or anything for anything. It brought the focus back to me, right back to me. It brought the focus back to accountability. It brought the responsibility back to me. It made me realize that for the longest time, because I felt my life, well, it wasn't that I felt, my life was not good. And because of that, I felt like I deserved someone to blame. I deserved someone to be angry at, to shout at, something, you know. I felt like I was entitled and right to be angry at God or whatever it is, supreme being, whatever. And giving myself to the universe just took that away. And it put me on the best part of my journey where everything is down to me now. The responsibility is on me. I am responsible for the decisions that I make, the information that I choose to take in. I have to be responsible for my own actions. If something went wrong, why did it go wrong? Could I have done something better? Yes, no, okay, cool. I know for the next time, if there is a next time. It helped me to start to accept how things have gone. Not everything. I still find a lot of things difficult to accept. But I suppose it made things a lot easier for me to understand, for me to, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I completely understand space now and that I'm a rocket scientist and like, no. But it helped me to understand myself and my journey in my life a lot more. It helped me to stop being so quick to judge, to assume, to speculate, Even though some of these things that we were naturally going to do, but it helped me to stop being so impulsive, so reactionary, because everything is reacting within this world anyway. I just need to choose my reactions to be able to get the best possible outcome for myself, but not only for myself, for as many people that it can possibly affect around me. It helped me to become more selfless, even though I do need to be a lot more selfish. It helped me to understand what being selfish and being selfless really actually means, to be fair. And again, well, if anything, it helped me to understand that everybody needs something to hold on to. For me, it's this, but for other people, it can be God, it can be religion. It led me to understand that everyone is just trying to understand that we have no rule book. And we are trying to make up rule books as we go along. And there isn't necessarily anything wrong with that. It helped me to understand that regardless of, whatever it is we think this world is, it helped me to understand that I know for sure that us as the human race are all one. Yeah, we've got different shades. Yeah, we come from different places. We come from different countries and that, but we're evolving. That's all. All of this that we're going through is just part of evolution. This world is evolving. This planet is trying to understand itself. This universe is trying to understand itself. We're all trying to understand ourselves and everything that's going on around us. And it just brought me back to the point of a really great quote that I got told as a young person, and that has stayed with me, whether I've agreed with it or not, but it stayed with me throughout my whole life. But giving myself to the universe helped me to completely solidify the statement that a wise man knows that he knows nothing at all. There's a point that us as humans, we're never going to get to when it comes to understanding where we are on this world, where we are in this solar system, where we are in this galaxy, where we are in this universe. There is a point where we are not going to be able to understand anymore. Doesn't mean that we will know everything. It just means there's going to be a point where humans can only go so far with their understanding. We're still trying to figure out what the fuck was going on before we even became humans. And there's going to be a point where so far in the future, do you know what I mean? There's going to be points where in this universe, there are spaces that we will not be able to get to. The same way there is spaces on this planet that we just can't get to, so therefore we will not be able to understand. There are depths in our oceans that no man has ever reached. We have no idea what the core of our earth looks like. We can only guess and theorize from what we've learned from this planet. Even to the point of what happens to us when we die. We will never know. We will never know. Because nobody has actually died for a good amount of time to be able to be like, yo, I figured out this deaf thing, and then come back and be like, yo, people there, I figured out this deaf thing, because once something ends, it ends. That's for certain. That is most definitely for certain. And that sounds horrible. It can sound horrible. It can sound dismissive. And I don't mean it to be. I really do not intend it to be dismissive in any way. It just is what it is. I'm not going to understand everything, and that's okay. I can't understand everything, and that's okay. It really is. All I need to do is understand who I am. Me. Diligent fingers. All I need to do is understand what and who I am, and how to best go forward without inflicting pain on anybody else, without hurting anybody else. Just try and live a life, the best life I can possibly live whilst I'm here. Sounds very YOLO-ish. Sounds very YOLO-ish, but I think the most important thing that I've learned, that I've taken from giving myself to the universe, and the most important thing I've taken from my journey with religion and spirituality, is starting that journey of being able to love myself. Really love me, really be grateful and appreciative of me, so then I can really start being grateful and appreciative of everything around me, the people around me, the things around me. Through falling in love with space and the universe, I've grown to start falling in love with myself and the planet, this earth. It's a struggle. It's a really long and hard struggle, but I believe it's been worth it. I truly believe it's been worth it. So yeah, I was really anxious about doing this video. I'm feeling like, I'm just gonna ramble, and I'm just gonna end up feeling horrible because, people are gonna feel like I'm going against them or anything like that. But, at the end of the day, my journey is my journey, and my journey isn't meant to offend anybody, isn't meant to disrespect anybody or anything like that. I'm just talking about my journey. And the beautiful thing is, we all have our own journeys. We all have our own unique paths that we should walk. We are walking down. That's the beauty of it all. The fact that we are all so different, and there's so much that we can learn from each other. That's the beauty of it all. I don't fully understand space. I don't fully understand the universe. I don't even fully understand religion, spirituality, or anything like that. But as on this journey of trying to understand and recognizing, okay, what are the good parts? What are the bad parts? Who's responsible? Where does accountability lie within myself and others? It's been hard. It's been heartbreaking, but it has been enlightening. And it's been uplifting. It's been encouraging to be on this journey. And as a result, I feel stronger for it, a lot stronger than I was before. There's still a lot of work to be done on myself and in this world. But for me, from my journey, I'm a lot better than I was 10, 20, 30. Yeah, I'm a lot better than I was 30 years ago. I'm still on that journey. So yeah, I'm going to end this rant, aka podcast here. But thank you very much for listening. I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing week. Take it easy. Look after yourself. Your mental health is important. You are important. As am I. Which is really weird to say. It's taken me a long time to get to the point of saying that I'm important in some way. And I'll probably wake up tomorrow and feel completely worthless again. But the fact that I can actually bring myself to say it, just for me, just as me as a person, no strings attached, no, just me. To get to the point where I can actually start to feel good about feeling like I am important to me as well as others. It feels great. So yeah, take it easy. Look after yourself. Look after your mental health. And until next time, as always, blessings to you all.